Cold Cuts family. You asked for it, and we delivered. We have got legendary comic artist, local and internet celebrity, Rory Blank.
You got to
Welcome.
mention the drip. You got to mention the
And he's
castaway
dripped the
drip
fuck
right now,
out,
bro.
dude. We rescued him from an island. Can you believe
You
it?
literally could carry around a volleyball and just score so much puss with this get up, bro. Like 100%.
This is a
Oh,
great
my
look.
girlfriend likes it.
Oh,
Yeah,
base,
dude.
base.
That's what's up. Dude, I understand you're on a little bit of a vacation right now.
It looks like
Yeah.
it.
It does look like it.
So if you like look at my output for like the last 3.5 weeks, I've just been doing these little doodle comics that are each something that took maybe like 5 minutes to write and draw.
Sure.
Because I just like, I don't know, my work is, I feel like it's only been picking up steam the last kind of couple of years, and still pretty slowly, just because by the nature of what I do, it's kind of alienating to some people. But yeah, I just kind of like, I've been making stuff for like the last 5 to 7 years in some capacity, like pretty much nonstop. And like when I started doing comics full time, it was after like working a full-time desk job for 3.5 years, and like I would just go home from work and just draw until I didn't want to move anymore, and then get drunk and go to sleep, and then go back to work and then do that again. And like I just haven't taken any time off since then.
Yeah, I get it.
I gotta say, really great work. Under a minute in, and we've already said, excellent work, Roy. Really great shit right
I'm
there.
sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean,
dude, you said something about banging puss like within like 30 seconds of like.
Okay, what, you want me to go woke?
We got a lot of bleeping to do anyway.
Am I crazy, or do I look like a lobster red right now?
It's nice.
I feel quite red. Dude, I was gonna say, Rory, you've been talking about how these last few you've been pumping out, maybe you're doing them in 5 minutes, but I've like noticed your output recently has been insane.
It's been really, like,
you and Harris are over here crushing. I'm over here flipping, sitting on my thumb, dude. I gotta catch up.
Here's the thing, though. I drew all of those in June. I haven't drawn anything.
Oh, Mr. Stockpile.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I like that.
Went to upstate New York last month because my girlfriend's grandfather passed away, and we had to go find a boat of his that was missing.
Oh my god!
And then
that sounds like an amazing like.
It sounds like the setup for a crazy movie. Yeah,
we bought.
I mean, I was hoping for that.
Yeah,
but they found it before we got there, so it just ended up breathing in smoke from the Canadian wildfires.
Dude,
like
they
4 days.
screwed us over in Pennsylvania. It just went away.
Oh,
that came all the way down. It just went away, but dude, it was like smoggy as hell. Bro, this is totally random. I don't know what. This is the first time we've like spoken. We've DM'd, I think.
No, I think we spoke. Well, technically, in a large group of pre-cold cuts, we were on Twitter Space together.
Oh, did you come on a Twitter Space, dude? Those days
were like in the last 5 minutes, I said like 3 things.
Yeah,
dude, I was so yipped up. I don't even remember who we had on, but I gotta say, I had forgotten what your voice sounded like. Your voice is very nice, but it's much more bassy than I was expecting. I don't know why.
You could definitely do some voice acting or some voiceover work. Have you ever considered it?
Yeah, maybe there's 2 people you know who are working on an animated pilot of some sort that maybe you could do voices for. I don't know who those 2 guys are.
I'd be happy to.
How's your Ronald Reagan impression?
We've asked 7 people this. We have to stop offering the Ronald Reagan part out to people, bro.
To remember what Ronald Reagan sounds like.
We haven't. Skipper. Well, my wife is a.
We haven't exactly found a good.
That's kind of good. That's better than the last guy.
There's a reason they call my wife the throat goat.
Oh, that's actually, I think, the best one we've heard so far. All right, you got the job.
The one guy we offered it to sent us recordings of it, and it was like,
he was like, "Hey, check it out," and I was like, "Dude, this is the worst Reagan impression I've ever heard."
Are you confusing Ronald Reagan with like Ronald McDonald?
Yeah,
like, do you know who you?
I was like, "What is this?" He sounded more like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, but
yeah, something was going on.
Yeah, dude, actually, Rory, I gotta say, on the topic of the drawings that you've been putting out recently, I actually really like the Post-it note drawings, or like the quick one-off sketches that you've been doing, because I know that Yeah, very far-sighted, and I know that your style in comics tends to be like you've got a great knack for like one panel comics, but with like telling a whole story in one panel. You know what I mean? Like a guy
Mhm.
telling his life story, but it's just one like disheveled looking sack of and he's like saying how he got into this situation. And so seeing you like actually just give these like one-off like quick ideas that are kind of like non sequitur are very funny actually. There's been some really I think it's actually some of your best output like in
Thank
a
you.
while. I really like it.
You know what? I don't think we've ever done this before, but we should start doing it instead of waiting till like the end of the episode. Where can people find your comics for people who aren't familiar with your stuff? It's Bone Jail.
I'm at Bone Jail on Twitter because somebody else got at Rory Blank and got banned like 8 years ago, and I have no clue who they are, but that name is just permanently taken. So for a while it was Piss Castle, and then I realized that people like. So I was just trying to come up with something that would make my dad embarrassed to tell people about his son's work.
Yeah,
Didn't work.
try dating a trans woman. That'll I can by experience that'll your dad'll say things about
He's
that. I'll
gonna
tell you
love
that
it.
much. Yeah.
Dude, I love the Bone Jail moniker, and I like your Skeleton Wizard website too. Is also
I have so
very
many
I didn't know you had
domain
a
names
website,
that
bro. I gotta check it out.
Oh, okay.
cool.
I just bought a lot of domain names. I have GarfieldXXX.com, OiledUpLeatherDaddies.com,
I
GetJackedOffByThePresident.com,
am aware of that one. Yeah,
Dude, this
I
sounds
all
think
good.
links somewhere.
PissCastle.com, SkeletonWizard.com. Most of them link to like the same two or three places.
Okay, right.
And I just bought. I think it's EroticFuneral.com
Do you have a
or
Oh my
Erotic
problem?
God.
Funeral
Do you
Services.
think you maybe have a problem in terms of buying all these, or do you foresee
Like
yourself
you're like
using all of
hoarding
them?
them.
Yeah, I mean, I use all of them. It's just I think it's good for like, oh yeah, eroticfuneral.com goes to my web store. I think it's good to just like be able to mix it up a bit. I've noticed that if I keep posting the same link on Twitter over and over again, then it kind of like sometimes just by the virtue of
Nerfs
like
it.
the fact, yeah, it nerfs it if you keep using the same thing.
This
But
is a
also, it's a
very
tax write off.
this is a
Yeah.
very Chinese maneuver of you, bro. This is like how we just had to ban them from coming in and buying all their real estate. Someone's got to ban Rory from taking all these amazing website names, bro. We got
I'm
to put a
using
stop to
them.
That's
it.
good. You know, it's funny. I know you mentioned earlier you were kind of saying how like you're just now finding, some like growth maybe on like social media, but dude,
Mhm.
to my eye, I feel like people like I think a lot of our fans are your fans. Like I think there's a lot of crossover, and we've had
You're
people. What's up?
don't let me interrupt. I'm not
Oh, okay, I was gonna
I
say
can't
we.
start doing this early in the episode. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. We've gotten a few like either emails or messages from people that have been like they'll usually say like, dude, uh Beetle, YOLO, House of Decline, and Rory Blank. Like you guys are my favorite like comic artists online. Like I think there's a lot of people. I think you definitely have a very established fan base because I don't really think I could definitely tell you for a fact that I don't think there's any other web comic artist that's doing what you're doing. I wouldn't even
Quite
say
like
you're a
you do
web
it.
comic
Yeah.
artist. I know that a lot of the stuff that you do is also DIY and
You're
like
in your own
zine
lane,
related.
which is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that makes it like kind of hard to gauge where I'm at. I mean, I know for a fact that like some work that I've done has had some pretty wide reach, but some of it's also like shit that doesn't even really get associated with me. Like one thing I know for certain is a few years ago I thought it'd be really funny to make yard signs that looked like those in this house we believe in science, yada
Hmm.
yada yada. So
Yeah.
I did that because I was like mad because like so I live in Austin, Texas,
Hmm.
which is,
Doxed. Doxed.
Docs.
pretty gentrified city.
Hmm.
Been like that for a long time. It's kind of goofy to like even go on about it, but like the day I went to get my second COVID shot, I was biking through this neighborhood that used to be
Reddit
like
alert. Reddit alert. No, I'm sorry.
So
I'm
through
kidding.
this like pretty poor or what had been like a kind of poor and working class neighborhood, and I just kept seeing those fucking signs and I got really annoyed about them, but also like I don't want to, attack necessarily the ideas on it, but like you live in like a pretty well-to-do neighborhood, and you have a sign up saying all are welcome here. No, the people you kicked out aren't welcome here
Yeah,
anymore.
that's true. Yeah.
And the city had just passed this bill that outlawed camping in the city because we have
What?
a lot of homeless people because of people being displaced by the people I was just talking about.
Yeah.
So instead, I went home and made a sign that just said, like, in this house, I believe Bigfoot is real. I'm going to have sex with him. Something, a bunch
I've
of other
seen
shit.
this.
Yeah, I've seen that for
Dude,
sure.
my cousin, I'm not even joking. I think he has that bumper sticker. You made that?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't, and
Wow.
I didn't make the bumper sticker. Somebody ripped it off, but
Dude,
But
that's
it's your
insane.
design. Dude, that's crazy, man.
Dude, speaking of, you're saying you don't know where you fit and you're kind of looking for this growth or whatever. Like, I think you're in a really prime position. That was a lot of smoke, bro. Holy shit. You know what? I usually have to,
Fat
we
clouds.
usually get demonetized, but if Rory's shooting smoke, I'm shooting smoke. I'll edit it out,
Let's
Harris.
go.
Don't beat me.
It always just says I'm drinking water over the thing.
oh, yeah, I got water too.
Oh, there you go.
Dude, you're in a sweet
I have a
position though of
delightful cup.
like,
Mm,
oh, that's based.
it's a nice cup.
Miyazaki. I don't think there's a version of this for webcomic artists, and like Harris said, you're not quite a webcomic artist, you're your own thing. But in the comedy world, stand-up comedy, there's people who everyone likes, which is like, okay, is it that hard to make the unwashed masses like you?
Roseanne.
Not really. Yeah, exactly. Unwashed asses. But you're like, have you guys heard this term before? A comics comic?
Yeah.
They may
Yeah,
not,
I know what
maybe
you're
they're
talking
not as
about.
big as they want to be right now, but everyone in the industry is looking at them. And I think you definitely fit the, you're a webcomic.
That's
or
right. You are
whatever.
the MF Doom of the hip hop world. You are your favorite
God.
rapper's favorite
Exactly,
rapper. That's
exactly.
what it is.
God, I wish I was still there was like a 5-month period where I was doing a gimmick where I just wore a mask and all of my social media. It wasn't even
That's
like it wasn't
hard.
like it was just like a blackout mask over my face. I should get back into doing
You
that.
said it said blacks out on it.
That's strange.
No, like one of those stocking masks
I'm
that just
being
covered.
I'm being an idiot. I'm sorry.
Dude, yeah, that's actually a good gimmick. I mean,
What
I
made you
think, like,
stop?
And
yeah,
that's
why'd you drop
I
it?
live in Texas. It's really hot.
You're like,
It's-
I'm tired of this.
That
I
makes
was like
sense.
trying
That
to go out
tracks.
and take pictures of me and my girlfriend going and feeding ducks and just wearing this black hood over my head.
Oh, you were doing the dream thing where, like, in public you were wearing it. Or
yeah,
you're talking about
yeah.
just like
I mean,
photo ops.
I changed all my social media pictures to that too.
Okay.
I just looked like a black metal guy. So that's
Kinda
right.
cool.
I got the idea from like there's a lot of black metal musicians who wear like just black hoods and you can't see their heads.
Mhm.
And two, like in Japan, there's actually like a pretty decent number of manga artists who just wear masks all the time and you don't know who they are or what their real names are.
Yeah. Isn't
And
that
that seems
the
kind of
One
cool.
Punch?
Yeah, the guy won. I don't know if he wears a mask, but I know that he's anonymous, the author of One Punch Man and
Yeah.
Mob Psycho. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
that's
both
cool.
the same guy.
Same guy, which is
Oh,
why
I
they're
t-
both
okay.
freaking based. And he's working on a third one too. I forget what
Dude,
it's called.
I'm
but
so close to starting One Piece just because, like, people were complaining on a Twitter thread because, like, they made the women sexier, and I'm like, I legitimately might start watching this show because every chick in it has just like double G's, bro. It is insane, dude. The redheaded chick, I don't even know what her name is. Maron, so amazing, baby.
there's a comic. The comic store that's near me has like a little section with the anime figurine girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They got sexy ones.
yeah.
Every time I walk past it, I'm going to I gotta walk through the to the comics, but you gotta pass by the glass case. So I'm like, oops, I dropped something, and I'm like looking in there, and I'm like, taking a
Let me
look,
just
and
say
they got
my birthday's in November.
you've got dude. They're literally like $600.
It's
for like
insane how
it's
expensive that
insane.
shit is, bro.
But
It's like,
they
dude,
have a One Piece one. That girl, that red. I've never watched the show, but that redhead girl with
yeah, I've seen, yeah, and like her
enormous breasts
bikini.
is
Dude, here's the thing, bro. If you're like a collector, you're probably not buying those. If you're a sicko like me who's like jacking off to it, you'd probably buy them. Why would you spend $600 on a jack off figurine?
I don't know.
Just look at pictures. That
It
seems
doesn't
silly.
make sense to me. Yeah,
But I will
those
if
are
you
a
want to
lot
buy one
cheaper
for my
than that.
birthday. Feel free.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that you're probably paying for the craftsmanship because I'm assuming that they're one of one, like they must be hand painted or something. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
the
know how you
Japanese ones
could.
are like they all have like 30 points of articulation, and then it's funny, like figurine collecting in Japan is like very cool like that. They're all so
Yeah.
cool. And then it's like here it's like what are those things called that Harris you look at the stock sometimes on them?
What's that?
Not
What do you mean?
Furbies.
Oh, the Funko Pops.
Funko Pops. Yeah,
Funko
it's like,
Pops.
dude, our version of like the figurines is so lame compared to theirs.
I think I actually still have that.
Is
here.
Rory gonna go get a Funko Pop? I'm gonna throw myself.
It was.
no,
I
I'm
literally
ready to
had
go
it.
get-
I
Ever
had
seen
it
one of
on
these
my
before?
sidebar. What was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
look at
my
that,
buddy
yeah.
uses that as like a reference.
Yeah, it's extremely helpful. They're made by Bandai, which makes like a lot of those like hyper articulate dolls.
Yeah,
But it's just
Dude,
like
yeah.
a blank guy that you can pose.
I love that. I used to actually have an action figure when I was a kid. Dude, God only knows where it is now, but I had an action figure of Spider-Man that was
Nice.
like that. Like had so many, it was like too articulate. Like you could move his hand and his wrist, and then he also had like elbow, shoulder, and I used to be obsessed with that thing because I would take it when we were waiting. Like me and my family are sitting like waiting to sit down at Chili's or something, and I would like bring it with me, and I would just be like running along like the windowsill and all kinds of doing
You were the
crazy
annoying
things.
kid that makes people not want to eat out.
I don't know if it
That's
was
what it's
annoying,
sounding
but
like.
it was like a great way to pass the time. Yeah. And I still do that if I'm sitting in I don't have an action figure to do it, but I do it in my mind still. If I'm sitting in the back seat of a car, I always picture a little guy.
Running.
Like
I do that
running.
too, like jumping over shit.
I always picture that,
Based.
yeah. Rory, you sent me some very fresh zines, which I think I
Oh
actually
yeah,
have here
those
somewhere.
are old.
You
Oh
must
shit!
not
I
have-
just noticed the flag behind you.
Oh,
that
yeah.
or
rules.
bad, bro.
Dude, I got that in my PO box. I did not. I swear, I did not.
You didn't.
Purchase
You
it
had
myself.
nothing to do with
I
the
had
fabrication of that.
Nothing to do
That-
with the creation of it. Somebody
Rory,
sent it in my PO
sick.
box.
I'm assuming you must have forgotten to send me my zines.
Oh well, I placed an order. I did. He did not send them for
I mean,
free.
if you just
Okay,
DM me your address, I'll send you.
Nah,
some
dude,
shit.
if Harris bought him, I'll buy. I'll buy
I
him
placed an
too,
order.
bro.
I'm not a freeloader. I did place an order, but what I'm pulling up are you sent me also some
I just gotta
really,
check,
really
bro,
sick
because you know
stickers.
what? Harris one day was like, dude, someone sent me these amazing mouse pads. And then the guy
What'd you get?
contacted me and said, hey, I sent Harris mouse pads to send you one. Did he send you one? I still haven't gotten that mouse.
But
pad.
but that
What kind of
guy,
mouse
whoever
pads?
sent it to me, first of all, never messaged me to let me know that it was them. It came
I
straight
think they're
from
in the Discord.
artist. Are they?
What
But
kind
like
of
they
mouse pad
they
was it?
placed an order for you.
Look,
Was it
I'll
one of
show
those
you.
anime titty mouse
Let me
pads?
show you. I'll show you
Yes,
exactly what
yeah.
it is. I'll show you.
Hell yeah,
But I think it's like TF2 characters, which is like so funny.
that's fine. That seems good.
Oh,
Those taste
man.
weird.
Dude, I just did manual
Maybe keep
labor for the
drinking it.
first time in my life. For
What-
like
what'd you
2
do?
years. My
There's 2 of
uncle
them.
has like a big operation coming up, so he has like a. I'm trying to tell him to get out of the ice business because like every
Mhm.
refrigerator makes ice now, but
Yeah.
ice delivery. Oh baby.
Oh, fuck.
It's
I'm
the
sorry.
I think this is a
medic
TF2
from
character,
TF2.
the medic, yeah, and he's got the
Damn.
hairy, like squishy
Yeah.
titties.
Dude, you know what's so
basically.
funny is that's literally
that
what you're going to
rules.
look like in 10 years.
Yeah, I
That he
hope so.
really looks like you, dude.
The other one is this also a TF2
Yeah,
character?
it's not a TF2 character. It's his little bird in
Oh, it's a little bird, and then also with the
Oh.
massive hairy titties.
Archimedes.
So this person, so I got these, and when I was sent the package, it came straight from the artist who goes by Scumsuck, who is a very fresh artist. I follow them now on Instagram. I messaged the artist thinking that they were the one that sent it to me. I messaged them and I was like, yo, I just got these mouse pads in the mail. Like, thank you so much. And meanwhile, they were probably just like, dude, you're a freak.
Did
Like,
they
I didn't
never
think anybody was
respond?
actually going to buy them. No, they messaged back and they were like, oh, cool, epic. But I was like, I like assumed that it was them, and then you told me that like now I got these like 6 months ago, and now
He
you
must
told
have
me that
ordered them. I gotta pull up the email so I can tell you who it was. I
he
keep
did.
forgetting.
You got to
do
tell
that.
me. I don't know why he messaged you and not me, and I will. I will
Probably because he
absolutely
was
give you one of
expecting
these.
you to send me one. I don't know.
It's funny. I don't have a real work. I don't actually have a mouse anyway, so I have no use for them at the moment. And I'm about to move in with my girlfriend, and I'm like, oh well, I'm about to get a real desk, a real setup, and she was like, you are not using that. Like you are not putting that on your
Dude,
thing. And I'm
even
like,
the
come
bird?
on. What do you mean?
Dude,
Well, I mean,
you can't. You gotta put your foot down, babe.
I mean, obviously, I'm still gonna take them with me, and then I'll just use them.
Just say it's ergonomic. Do you want to get
It's-
arthritis?
What's funny?
Dude,
is that-
literally, bro.
literally,
In your
and
line of work, this is the most important
It's
part of your
very
body, and you will be
important.
hurting yourself if you don't
Dude,
cushion
it's
your wrist
I
on
can't get
true.
over
big,
you.
beautiful bird tits.
I
Very
hate
true.
that you have that wrist thing on, bro. I took in like elementary school, my friend, his mom had
I just took
estrogen
mine off.
pills. And
Good,
I was
yeah.
like, I was trying to like do jackass, so I ate one of the estrogen pills, and I'm convinced. See, now you're doing it to me, Rory. I see both of you in that thing, and my like maternal instinct is like, oh baby, let me take care of you because your
No,
wrist is broken.
I definitely like. I don't actually think I fucked up my wrist, but sorry, goofed up my wrist by.
We've said fuck so
we've
much
said it
this
so many times, it
episode.
doesn't
I'm already
matter.
going to have to edit. It's.
I don't
totally
think I
fine.
actually goofed it up by drawing because I actually hold my pen really strange. So I know the people in the Discord know this, but I hold it like a goofy guy like that. And
So weird.
when I'm drawing, it's all in my fingers. Like I'm drawing it like this. And so I don't actually think that I know that normal people draw like what is it like this? That? And there's more
Yeah.
movement in the wrists, but my wrist doesn't move when I'm drawing. So I actually think that's assisted me in my like marathon drawing, like where that's like how I can draw for a few hours a day and not get sore. I think I actually messed up my wrist doing something stupid. I think it was either I actually think it's being on my phone. I think it's like literally
Yeah,
I think it's scrolling. Yeah, maybe that too. Or like working out or something, but it has been somewhat uncomfortable the last couple weeks, but it doesn't bother me when I'm drawing. It's just like random. It's when I'm on my phone
yeah,
or
I would be willing to believe it's your phone.
Do you have
like
a toothpick in?
yeah,
You were the
I've
coolest
been-
person we've had on the pod, dude.
He's
Having-
easily the coolest guy.
hand strain in this hand for a while now, and I've realized that it's because not because of drawing, it's because I hold my phone like this.
Yes.
Dude, the
So I'm
pinky,
just
that messes
yeah,
up your
it is
hand. They did a
that.
study. It literally, I forget what it is, but like having this being pushed down messes something all up in
It's
your
so
That
wrist.
is
fucking hard
100%. Yeah, it's what I'm experiencing. And it sucks because it's like I don't really have another option. And all of my business happens on my phone, basically. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
record the podcast on the computer, but almost everything else happens on my phone. So it's like I don't really
It's
have an option.
so hard to adjust to
I
grip
could
it all.
probably get off of Twitter as much as I'm on Twitter, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. What am I gonna do? I'm
Dude,
still like
Twitter is Hotel California. You're not gonna get off Twitter.
there.
one is
No,
ever
no, I
gonna get
know.
off Twitter.
It's not leaving Twitter per se, but it's like I absolutely could taper off my usage of the app. It's just like it's pointless. It has gotten more unbearable recently than ever before. It's just a
Dude,
really,
seeing
really
Elon in
unpleasant.
all the comments going, there aren't more bots than normal. There aren't more this than, and it's
cannot,
like,
like,
dude,
what is
stop
that
lying,
cope?
bro. Like, you can
Like-
listen in this life. You can be retarded and ugly, but you can't be both. Okay, so I want Elon to take that to heart.
One or the
I'm
other.
being
It's got to be
honest,
one or
yeah.
the other. The whole bot thing is so ridiculous. The fact that he could even say like when he posted that picture that he was next to the dead bots, I'm like, dude, do you want me to show you what my DMs look like? Like it's all
God.
bots. Like
He meant
every
the
DM
dead
that I get.
every day.
Bottoms that he killed to prevent
And-
them from releasing that he's gay.
And you know what? You know a
Mm.
bot that he did eliminate that I'm like, why the hell? Like, and also, first of all, I gotta say, if anybody who uses that stupid roast him Jim bot, I don't know why that one is
Bro,
okay.
dude.
It is
I blocked
so
all of those.
unfunny and so
one,
lame,
The like explainer bots that have popped up the last couple months.
bro.
Just
like,
I don't
The
want them to be able to
worst
interact
use
with me
of
at all.
AI I have ever
It's
seen.
it's not funny or insightful or interesting. I don't know why it became a meme for people to be like roast him
Roast him,
Jim,
Jim."
and he always says something that's like doesn't really even make too much sense or it's
Yeah,
not
it's like
fun to
know if
use.
it's
you
like-
could. It feels like it was ghost written by someone who has no idea
No
who they're
idea.
making fun of. Literally,
Yeah,
like Tom
so
was talking about. Yeah,
I don't know why those bots are welcome, but you know what bot they got rid of that was one that I actually followed was the DMV license plate bot. Like did you ever see
Yes,
that one?
dude.
Yeah,
And that one was
great.
really funny.
Was it that
I
they got
love
rid
that
of it,
one.
or it's that he changed it so if you want to use TweetDeck, you literally have to pay $1,000 a month? Because I
Well,
know
I don't know
some
about
people, like
that.
the Gators Daily and some other ones like that, literally had to like
Yeah.
stop because he's charging $1K a month. Do either of you know what
What?
TweetDeck is? I don't.
I didn't
It's
know that. No, I don't know what
Uh,
that is.
it's like a way for nerds to use Twitter that you get more Twitter on screen at all times.
Is it
That's
like
it.
a different app?
Why would anybody want that?
It's a
Or it's this?
plugin.
It's a
I
plugin.
know
Okay.
the only people I know who use it are like programmers.
Hmm. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to me. I noticed immediately that California DMV bot was disappeared. I don't know what happened, if it either got deleted or like what you're saying, they just didn't want to use the TweetDeck thing. But I was like, bro, why are you getting rid of bots that are actually like is there no checks and balances? Why are you getting rid of bots that actually people follow and like, but then meanwhile we have these zero follower, like Chinese bots that are just coming in and they're like, "Hello, I'm new in your city. Would you like to buy this cryptocurrency?" That's
So
what my
annoying, dude.
DMs look like. I'm like, "What
Yeah.
is this
But dude,
crap?"
even the like his whole free speech push, it's like, dude, we just had that Tom guy on, and it's like, I don't even care. I mean, first of all, I feel bad that you got a little friendly fire.
Who,
First of
me?
all, the people calling you my sidekick brings me so much joy, dude.
Oh,
What?
So much joy. You have
Oh,
so much
no.
more talent in like your anus than my whole body, and like them calling. First of all, I wasn't even. It was like Jewish sidekick too,
Lefty
which
Jew
is funny. Like
sidekick.
that
Yeah,
was
that's what I got.
bad. Yeah, the Jewish
Yeah,
part. But
yeah.
dude, I get so many more of those comments, or I see them on Twitter. Like if I go to the For You, or yeah, For You, it's following in For You. Yeah, so if
Yeah.
I go to the For You
Mhm.
page, all I see, and maybe because I know Elon was saying it's based on what you look at. I do not go to any of these people's pages, and that's
Mhm.
all I see, dude. Just like
Mhm.
scumbag comments like that, and it's like, I'm too tired. Please, it's the Mr. Incredible. Please shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like I
Yeah.
can't do
That's
it anymore.
honestly another one of the reasons I've been taking a break right now. It's because it's
Yeah.
just freaking.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It is.
It's too late.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Dude, you look like you wouldn't
It-
give a flying shit, bro. You
It's
look so swagged
exhausting.
out right now,
No
bro.
matter,
It's
like,
unreal.
how detached you try to be, it just gets exhausting having to filter through anything to just get to
Yeah.
see whatever your friends are doing.
Look, like viewers at home, look at Rory. If you want to be this chill, this maxed out, get your ass off Twitter,
Take a
bro.
break, touch ass.
This is please, like, look, this is
Go for a bike ride. I just found out the community pools in my neighborhood are free.
oh, what?
Be
Going to the
careful.
pool, yeah.
Be careful. I'll say that much. Community pools harbor much ringworm. I'm just gonna say
Oh
that.
God.
Okay? Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I
Dude,
And
the
I don't know.
one,
I don't know
I can deal
about
with
biking
that.
right now. It's like at least by me, it is literally
It's
115
pretty hot.
degrees.
It's pretty hot.
It's terrible.
It's like 105 out
Speaking
here
of,
right
I'm gonna
now.
make sure my kittens have not melted.
Oh, bring them on
Oh
camera,
no.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
he got some new kittens. Did you see
Yeah,
them?
I saw about that. Like he found him on the side of the road. Is that
I
what
know it
happened?
wasn't on the side of the road. It was
I didn't
like,
even find them on the side of the road. This lady down the road was like,
dude, show us the kittens.
they're passed out. I don't. You're not supposed to
Uh,
wake them up. I'm so,
okay.
dude.
Yeah.
I am would love to show you them. Trust me.
Okay.
They might wake up for part two. But yeah, this lady down the road, my cousin is friends with her daughter or whatever, but was like, yeah, they got these cats. So I swung by, and the lady was pretty much just like, yeah, if you don't take them today, I'm throwing them in the river, because she had just thrown the last litter in, which was like
Jesus
5 kittens.
Christ.
Terrible.
But
I
dude,
forgot people
that's
do
just how it
shit
is
like
in the
that.
country, bro. And it's like they were just making jokes like, yeah, kittens aren't good at swimming, and I was just like, please don't
It's
swim.
like, how could you do
Yeah,
that?
I like dying.
Dude, I could never. Yeah,
Bro.
I couldn't kill mice when I lived in New York and we had a mouse problem. I couldn't even kill a
I
mouse.
can't do
had
that.
a-
Just
I
but
couldn't do
dude,
it.
even these Helgramites now, I can't kill. I feel bad. Like unless it's the chicks, dude, they bite so hard.
I don't
Dude,
know
before
that.
I forget about it,
Helgramite?
we got
What's
4
What's
minutes.
a Helgramite?
Look up Dobson fly right now. These things are like 8 inches and they are all over my house.
Horrifying creatures.
They're
yeah.
older than
Oh my
dragonflies.
God.
I know.
Oh,
dude.
that is.
I know. Beautiful
Oh,
creature.
I don't like that.
Beautiful creature.
Dude,
The males
they're
can't bite.
everywhere.
The females draw blood. It's crazy. Dude, the
It's scary.
tweet that made me so annoyed today was speaking of like us like just Twitter
Ugh.
sucking now was this guy tagging Olive Garden and going through this whole thing because he went there to eat and there was a trans waitress and he said his daughter was like throwing up and disgusted, and they because he
God.
told them that, the manager because obviously they're like, why are you acting like this? They made him leave, so he's throwing a hissy fit. But then later on in the thread, he's like, yeah, don't even eat at Olive Garden. I haven't eaten here in like 3 years. And I'm like, it was just such like a fake bullshit story you could tell. And it's also like,
Yeah,
dude, the world we live in right now, like, do you really think tagging Olive Garden and asking them to tell trans people to kill themselves is like, do you earnestly think they're gonna respond? Like, he was
Right.
freaking out, like, why hasn't Olive Garden responded? And I'm like, dude, they're not going to respond to you. Like, what do you like?
It is a bit
I hate
bizarre.
that stuff, dude,
Yeah.
so much, bro.
and I guess there's something fascinating about just the fact that so much of American culture at this point is just trying to be as loudly histrionic as possible to get a corporation to pay attention to you.
It's
Like,
insane.
did you see the video of like the guy running around a Lego store, like yelling, "You're teaching kids how to get blowjobs
Yes.
because of that pen. You're teaching
Yeah.
kids how to eat
Dude.
penis."
Yeah, like why is that a thing? Like, what happened to these people? Was it COVID? Did that just do a huge damage on people's
I
mental
think
health?
that
Maybe, bro.
did just give people psychic damage that they're just never going to recover
It
from.
feels that way because I mean I remember people being like, I mean, during like the Donald Trump election cycle, I remember people being like, oh, this is bad. America is like really bad right now. But dude, I would take that era over this era
Oh my
any
God,
day.
dude.
That was at least like there was some like
Funny.
repartee. Like it was almost kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, we're going back and forth. Like these people like this thing and this people like this thing. And now it's just like it has completely devolved into the most just I'm like, dude, you cannot earnestly believe this. Like you cannot.
I think the majority of people who have intelligence, and I'm seeing it more and more, bro. When I said, "Yo, screw these right wing guys. I'm my own man. I do my own thing." I saw so many accounts freaking out, like big accounts, and like, "Oh, you'll be back," blah blah blah. And now I'm seeing the same people complaining about their followers and how they're too fucking far right or left. And it's like, I feel like I was so ahead of the curve and it feels so good. Although I probably shouldn't have been in that part of the curve anyway. So
Part of the
Yeah.
lore, baby. Part of the lore.
part of the lore. Part of the lore. Listen,
We all make decisions.
we
in
got
our
less than a minute left. Because we haven't paid for the Zoom version yet, it makes us take a 10-minute break. So
life.
we
I
will
understand.
be back.
Cutting corners.
I listen
yeah.
to the show.
Excellent.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
You're Cold
I know
Cuts
it
fan,
works.
baby. I will say, when we come back, we got more to talk about. But I will say, Roy,
Yeah.
I'm really glad to have you on, man. I know it's
This
been long
this is
overdue.
the
fun so far.
fastest block we've ever done. Dude.
I
I'm having
know,
such a great time talking to you.
Yeah,
We should do this more often.
Aw,
Let's
shucks.
do lunch. Do lunch.
absolutely. Let's do lunch, baby. Rory, you Italian or Jewish? You got anything in you?
You're not
Irish
Irish.
and-
All right,
Irish?
all right.
Irish and
That
Danish.
that passes.
We're
All right,
all
Irish is in here.
technically black. Jewish,
Okay.
Italian,
Actually,
Irish.
like my mom's great grandfather had very thick curly hair and was very dark skinned and would not talk about his life.
We back.
We back, baby.
Bro, I
Rory,
meant
you-
to ask last time. Oh, sorry, Harris.
No, go ahead, go ahead. What I was gonna say was stupid. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I was wrong. Dutch, not Danish. I don't know shit about
Okay.
Scandinavia, so I couldn't tell you how that's different. But Dutch.
Same,
Okay.
same.
I was gonna
Rory,
say,
what? Yeah, you can do one or two, but who would you say you're? I guess it doesn't have to be comic artists because you're kind of multidisciplined. But do you have any people you kind of are inspired by or look up to, or in that vein?
I could actually let's see. So the
You
first
seem like the
comic
type
book,
of guy. Sorry, as I immediately interrupt you, but you seem like the type of guy who would say me in 10 years, and I would respect that. But yes, continue.
I
Sorry.
wish. Oh no, I was just going to give a completely honest and nerdy answer.
Give it.
The
let's hear
first,
Give it.
the first comic book that I ever liked was Bone by Jeff Smith. You
I
read
have
that?
heard so
Very
much good
fresh.
stuff about that, but I never read it.
It's like the best.
It
It's
really
for
is
it's for like a
insane.
younger audience, right?
I would say it's for younger audience.
Young
It's
adult?
Just, it's all
Young
ages.
adult. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, word.
Like
okay.
a kid can read it, but also like it's not like a kid's book.
Yeah.
There's stuff going over their
I would
head.
say Calvin and Hobbes-esque that you could say it's for kids, right? Is that fair to say? But
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah.
by all.
I mean, I think that's right. I mean, I first started reading it because it was syndicated in Disney magazine for a bit, but I dropped my toothpick into
I
my cup.
noticed that.
What are you drinking now?
Water with a bit of Mio in it to give
Okay,
me
word.
electrolytes.
Just
Very lit.
making sure it wasn't
There we
urine.
go.
Oh, base.
Yeah, no, it does look like it
Where
does
did
look like piss.
Freshest man on earth.
I was gonna
dude.
ask
Um,
what so with Bone being like a big inspiration, when did you establish what's recognized as your current style, which is hard to pinpoint because there's something to my eye, I'm gonna do a bad job explaining it, but I would say there's something reminiscent about it has a newsprint feel to it, but it's very modern in its own way, and it's like singular. You don't really do paneled storytelling. Not so much, right? When did that style sort of like emerge?
that's mostly just like that's what I meant more when I said like I feel like I'm starting to get it in the last few years because if you can find my comics from like 7 years ago, one, they don't look very good. Two, it looks completely different. It looks like a different person made them. But I think that's just I found a lot of stuff and I mean, I was drawing for a long time before then, but I feel like I really started to figure out how exactly I wanted to approach stuff pretty much after 2020. But if you wanted me to name some other influences, also just to finish out a thought about Bone, like yes, there's no swearing in it or whatever. There's no sex in it, but there is, for instance, like a page where somebody gets cut in half, and it turns out their like entire bottom half of their body is just like a desiccated corpse, and locusts fly out of it.
Oh my God.
So like a kid could look at that. It's not like guts,
Yeah.
but
But it's also
not
a bit dark.
Well, there's a
there's
there's
a
a
darkness.
fine line now where I think there are some people who think like if it doesn't curse and if there's no pussy, it's not for adults. Which is I think why we get a lot of like I think it's
So
part of the
that's how you
reason
get a
adult
that
animation
also
is so
excludes like
that's
ass.
how you get
the
Sausage
Twilight
Party.
Zone,
Yeah. Yeah.
Shakespeare, in any novel written before like 1950.
Hmm.
I'm sure kids would love reading War and Peace.
Right,
Uh,
exactly. Like I would
but yeah,
say I mean
I'll, keep
Bone.
going. I'm listening.
Okay, Bone is interesting because I feel like we had somebody on recently that told me this, or maybe it was actually one of my IRL friends that Bone, the writer, let me actually look up his name. He was
Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith. He was actually, I think, tweeting somewhat recently, maybe as recently as a couple years ago or more than that, but um he had had been trying to pitch something to a streaming service or Netflix for years, and they were like back and forth about deals and pricing and what they were going to make and what they needed him to do and write, and like it fell through after like I think it was like 6 years of them like discussing with him, like trying to make something, and then I think it like fell through, and I think he was sort of airing it out on Twitter. Either I may be making that part up because my friend was telling me about this, and I
Yeah.
don't know if Jeff Smith actually was like public about it really, but I just know that it fell through, and it makes me think like I was curious because Rory, your MO to my eye is pretty like DIY independent, right? You really lean into that style, which I really like too. I think I really appreciate that about your like style, and also
Yeah.
your production is just the fact that it's very like DIY and outside of any like industry, so to speak. So I was curious what your take is on like some of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood right now with animators and people who are career artists and the stuff that they're saying. Like I know there's a lot of people
Mhm.
complaining about the art world right now, but would you say that like has it changed your style of production in any way, or are you kind of like keeping on?
Um, there's a few things I'm trying to think through inside of that, but to begin with, also like I think one of the earliest draws to me with DIY stuff is actually with Bone for a long time. It was self-published. Like there was a wave in the early '90s of cartoonists, including Jeff Smith and I can't remember his name, the guy who draws Cerberus or Cerebus or whatever. which if you've never seen it,
I'm not
like
familiar with
that
that.
guy, that guy's a crank. That guy is like just this weird crank who draws like a comic about a talking aardvark who hates women.
Okay.
Based.
That's a more recent part, but
Oh,
like
I've
at some
seen
point he
this.
got in like a big feud with Jeff Smith because like they were friends together because they were like part of the movement to do like DIY comics. We're self publishing, and at some point he like accused Jeff Smith of like being mind controlled by his wife and tried to like challenge him to a boxing match.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Let me
Where is
guess.
he
His wife
now?
said no.
What?
uh, he's still making. I don't remember if it's Cerebus or Cerberus. I don't remember the
This
whatever it
is.
is. He's still doing that.
I will say, I mean, this and Bone and Calvin and Hobbes are all great examples of this style of comic that I freaking love, which is a main character which is somewhat crude or easy to draw in like an extremely lush, like
Yeah,
cross-hatched landscape and surrounded by people that are all like really well realistically drawn. It's
yeah,
just like
that's like the
cool.
best thing about Bone is like all three of the main guys in that Bone, Phony Bone, and Sunny Bone. It's been a while since I've read it, but like
Hmm.
they're all just like little blob guys. And
Yeah.
then outside of that, like as it goes on, just the world around them just gets like more just immaculately rendered. It's like some of the best like just black ink drawing in the world. It's just about these little goofy guys that are just contrasted against this vast fantasy landscape.
Yes.
Um, to Hollywood though, to that. So, I'm not like an expert on labor stuff, but there's like a lot of stuff that's been going on in the industry for a long time. This has been, I think, like we're kind of at a breaking point, from what I know, with how a lot of labor in all of the entertainment industry works. Like the stuff going on with the writers' strike right now stems from like weird wiggle room that was in the contracts that they had a decade ago when like and the internet was still like or like streaming was still like kind of a nascent thing a decade ago, and they were able to successfully like negotiate better rates on streaming stuff, but the industry has been working on doing stuff that will like shift what your position is within a company to where like one thing I know that's happening with writers is that like Netflix will hire people to do like a test run of something where they only like work for like a week or something, and then they're just like made to go through as much work as they possibly can, and then they could get fired if the show like actually gets picked up, but their work could still be used.
That's a little insane.
Um,
Here's my
and
thing,
also,
though. Sorry, finish.
uh, I was going to say also like with animation, going back to that, part of the reason why like everything is CGI now is because like there's a lot less protections for like union animation stuff. So like a lot of companies will just like move to wherever they have the most cash incentives to have an animation project be based out of. And
Yeah,
then as soon as like it becomes cheaper to move somewhere else, they will move somewhere else and just screw you if like you can't
Yeah.
move
you're right.
to
Yeah,
whatever
you get
state that
left in the
is.
dust. Dude, I can't speak to the animation world because I don't know about it, but I was reading a thread on Twitter, which means it's true. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
first of all, this has nothing to do with the thread, but I have a hunch part of the reason the writing world is like this right now is like, and whether I don't know what Pete you want to, but some people will blame it on diversity hiring and blah blah blah. But to for the people I see saying like that these writers need more money, like the writers currently right now are ass. I'll say that right now. You guys can disagree with me, but the writing in Hollywood is ass. These people should not be paid more. Most of them should be fired. I'm not even kidding. And from
Okay.
my understanding, any union writer minimum is making 200K a year. Baseline, they're required to make that much. So it's kind of like, I know you really want to buy a third or fourth home, but I don't care.
Do
And
you wait? But okay, wait. I gotta push back on you a little
push
bit
back. No,
because
push back. Push back.
do you
I'm an
really think
idiot. I'm
that?
an idiot. I
Do
mean,
you really think that everybody who's writing in Hollywood right now is making 200K a year? I really, really sincerely doubt that.
if you're part of the union, that's like the requirement. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, if you're part of the
From my
union.
understanding, I could be totally wrong. I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about, but would you agree with me that 99% of writing is trash ass fuck shit?
I would say stuff that's churned out by like really big corporations. Yeah, but I mean that's
Sure, not.
also
I'm not talking about the
Yeah,
indie space.
no, yeah, I think like I mean most of the movies that I really like to watch, well, actually, I don't
I
know.
think you
Go
can put a lot more of that on like what the demands of the companies making the work is.
okay.
Like, it's not necessarily that like every writer like wants to be working on the MCU or doing like Joss Whedon type dialogue for everything, but like that's what the studios are telling them to do. That's what
Right.
gets greenlit. So like those are the parameters you have to work in.
But also, Zach, I think here's also my pushback to you is that like
Push
do
me,
you
baby.
do you think that like right now we're in like the first era ever where most writing for movies is bad? Because I would actually say that you could probably argue that there are always going to be terrible writers in Hollywood, but what you want to do is build a foundation for writers to join the union so that you get those 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 pieces of cinema or television or work that last. I mean, there are shit movies from every decade. There will always be shit
Sure,
movies,
of
but
course,
Yeah,
of
you need
course.
to establish a foundation for people, for artists to want to work. Because
But
otherwise, if you're just like, oh, let's just use AI, let's not pay any of these,
yeah,
these writers anymore. Yeah, a lot of shitty. You could point to a lot of shitty writers and be like, yeah, you should have hit the pavement a long time ago, sweetheart. But then there's a lot of people who are actually good writers that are maybe the
sure,
one in a
sure.
thousand
I
that
think
But
that's a good point. Also, I've been watching a lot of old movies just over the last few years, and like some of them are really cool. Like there's stuff from past decades that like is incredibly interesting and instructive, and like shows
Rosemary's
you stuff
Baby.
about like
amazing.
how culture has changed and like what was in vogue. But also at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, there is just an endless amount of garbage that has been
100%.
produced throughout
Sure,
all of time that just like you don't remember it 20 years later.
right.
Like
What?
there are what was the last time you watched, I don't know, Dinner for Schmucks, which was a
I don't
decade
Classic.
think I ever
ago?
saw that
I
one.
never
That's
saw
with Zach
that.
Galifianakis, right?
I
Yeah,
think
and
so.
Steve
That might even
Carell.
be a good movie. That
I
was
know
just
most
like the
people
first
consider it
comedy.
a really
Yeah,
good comedy. Some of my buddies say I need to watch it, but dude, to me it just feels like
That was just the first movie off the top of my head. No,
it's a schlock movie. Yeah,
hater,
it's
whether or
a
not it's
movie
hater.
from a
good, it's
But
decade
dude, here's the
ago, so
thing.
it's
yeah,
like past.
I haven't
past
seen
its
it,
prime.
but Comedy Schlock was, and I'm not even being a boomer here. Comedy Schlock was amazing 10 years ago. I wish we could go back to the 9/11 comedies. They were
Dude,
amazing, dude.
you're saying that because there is sort of this like revisionist period we're living in right now where we can look at some, and I agree with you, there are some movies like I was talking about on the podcast not so long ago, the movie Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf, which came out in like 2006,
I haven't
which
even thought
is
about
Did
that
she
in
make the
haven't
years.
thought
song
about
for
it.
that movie?
Yeah,
I think they were related because they came around the same time. So I think she did base it. I don't think it
yeah,
was
I think
for
that
the
was for the
movie,
soundtrack.
Because
but
it
I
was on
think
the
it was
credits.
related. Something
Yeah,
was
okay.
related. But anyway, I rewatched that movie over quarantine because it was on Netflix, and I had gotten into one of my friends had shown me what Letterbox is. So I was like, oh, let me start logging some movies in Letterbox, which I don't do anymore. For anybody wondering, you cannot add me on Letterbox. There's only cringe on there.
No
Thank
But
God,
judgment.
dude, because that is
yeah,
so Reddit.
yes, but I love watching movies, and Rotten Tomatoes is dog shit, shill garbage. So at Letterbox at least feels like if you want to see what people are saying about a movie that's not just written by these paint by numbers like Disney shills, you could go on Letterbox and actually see some like opinions on there. I don't really know anywhere else you can do it, maybe like 4chan. But anyway, so I watched Disturbia as one of the movies that I was like, oh, I kind of want to log this on my fucking Letterbox. And
Mhm.
it was like a movie that has aged poorly, extremely poorly, because it's such a product of its time. But I liked it for that reason. You know what I mean? Like there was a nostalgia factor. I was like, wow, this feels like 2006, like cranked up to the 11th degree in a movie. This is what all movies felt like. It has this really orangey color grading over the whole thing. Shia LaBeouf is like the star, and this was during like Transformers era, so he was like really like the it kid at that point. And like, I don't know, something about it. I was like, you know what? This actually was a good movie, but that is still a specific type of bad movie. There are still so many shitty movies.
But the bad movies now are just bad.
But
Dude,
there
I'm
were
telling
bad
you,
movies
like,
that were just bad then too.
sure,
I
but
guarantee it.
dude,
Yeah.
it really feels like, and again, you guys can disagree with me. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But it really feels like we need to hire this, and this. And, you know, they had good senior writers, and then they brought in a bunch of like chimp people with chimp brains. And now that the senior writers have moved on, it's like these younger writers are like, dude, I'm not even trying to get political, but like I saw someone posted some clips from that new Lord of the Rings show. Oh, and it's like, elves took our jobs, and it's like, dude, I need all of you, the writers on the show, to kill themselves. Like, unironically, if that's like the writing you're gonna do into Lord of the Rings, like,
I don't know, what are you doing, man?
none of you should have jobs, bro. I see the shit that happens today, and dude, this again, I'm self-professed idiot. Harris and Rory are much more smarter than me. Don't listen to what I'm saying right now, but I could not give a shit if this writing, if the thing fails. I hope it. I'm rooting against them actively. Sorry,
Could you argue that that is a sign that the system in place right now is not working because the people that are hiring those writers don't give a shit, which also maybe goes hand in hand with the fact that
that doesn't make the writers good.
No, it doesn't make them good, but but there are good writers. Like there are good writers.
Sure, but my fear is this strike goes through and they win, and till I die, I have to watch
terrible Joss Whedon.
Trump illusions for guys. That was like 4 years ago, 8 years ago.
So,
he left office
4 years ago,
2.5 years ago.
That's still too, like, leave it in the past. Leave it in the past. I don't care about elves taking my job. I just want to see a dragon fight a dwarf with a bow and arrow. Like, suck my ass. I hate it, dude.
Where do you weigh in on this, Rory? What do you think?
I mean, I can't speak.
Feel free to call me an idiot,
happened.
please. Please.
I wouldn't say that to you, but
it's okay, sweet cheeks.
I can't weigh in on what the situation with Lord of the Rings is, but I do still ultimately believe that more of this has to do with what studios are demanding than what people want.
And I think that's
the
reasonable take.
Like, I think most people don't get into writing thinking that they're going to make like a movie where like whatever, I don't know, James Corden is suddenly a superhero who just says shit like, well, that just happened.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Nobody wants to do that. That's just like what they think that people want.
Right.
And they want to be seen as like making content that is like aware to what society's at right now, which also like ultimately frequently fails because like the kind of stuff that you see with like politics in a lot of mainstream movies also isn't even like coming from a genuine place. It as much as like it's pretty much just like what Target was doing that people got mad at them about, which is not that they genuinely cared about like trying to support the LGBT community as much as just that like they thought, well, this is what's gonna sell.
Yeah.
They have no real interest in like actually trying to make progressive work, although progressive work like does get made, like Sorry to Bother You a few years ago, or if you've seen like that guy's new TV show, which I've only watched the first episode of, I'm a Virgo, which I've only seen the first episode, but it's okay. Did you like it? Did you like Sorry to Bother You?
I like that one. Yeah, it's a good movie.
He made a TV show that just premiered on Netflix about like a guy who's 16 feet tall, who
that sounds awesome.
At the age of like 19, breaks out of the house that his parents have been keeping him in to go experience Oakland.
What the hell?
The first episode is really funny.
I'm gonna check this out.
Okay, that's
dude. I want to say, based
Moonlight and Walton Goggins is in it as like a superhero. Oh yeah, speaking of good stuff that's on right now, Righteous Gemstones. That's a great show.
That is a good show, dude. Anything Danny McBride is in, dude. I just want to say, based on the intelligent stuff you just spewed out of your pie hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. You know, if I was the boss at a job and I literally hired 3 chimps instead of hiring a human, why are the chimps at fault? It's my fault for being an idiot and hiring bad people. That's the reasonable take. See, I am such an idiot. I just let myself get angry and I run my mouth, but
I mean, I do think it's a system. It's a system issue. I do think that there are really bad writers, right? There's bad
Oh,
artists.
sure.
There's bad writers,
Would
right?
you
It
agree though?
exists.
Sorry.
But I like, and I'm not excusing that because I think those people deserve to not write in
Right.
Hollywood, right? If they want to make passion projects, go ahead, right? Sharpen the blade. But I don't want to be seeing a fucking, I don't need to see your garbage James Corden superhero movie
Yes,
every
please
year,
God.
right? Like,
Please
please
God.
enough.
I hope no Netflix executive watches this show and makes that, dude.
Right, but those terrible writers aren't getting there on their right. They're not like, I worked for this position. They're getting hired by a system which rewards terrible writers and underpays people who are just starting out. I don't
Yeah.
know how it works. I can't pretend because I'm not in there, but I'd be willing to venture that if anybody's listening to this who is a writer that's like feeling the pain, would probably agree that that is the case. That if
Yeah.
you're a really good writer, you're not getting hired based on merit, and that alone is a problem. Like that is.
Well, then
How
again,
do you
there
work
are
around that?
like that awesome guy we had on, Kyle Edward Ball, the love of my life, the twink of my
Yeah,
life.
but he's really DIY too. He was
But
super
he was
DIY.
it was his writing for his short films that got him into it. You know what I mean? And I'd like to
Yes.
see more of that of people seeing someone like Rory,
It was
seeing
that.
his stuff and saying, let's let this guy make stuff.
Right, but
You know what I mean?
it was that, but it was also, and this is not to discredit Kyle Edward Ball, amazing episode.
You
Yes,
really
check
can't
that
just
one
say
out
his first
too.
name.
I
You
know
really
you can't
got to
just
say it
Kyle
all.
because
Yeah.
I also have a close friend named Kyle, so I'm like, it sounds like I'm talking about him. But
You
anyway,
also can't say Kyle Ball.
you no, you cannot, you can't. This is not to discredit the work that he put in on Skinamarink, but there was, I think, also you cannot argue there was certainly a stroke of luck that it got picked up because it was so niche and so specific that there had to be somebody who was in the industry that saw his work and thought, this is
I'll take a
something.
chance.
This is
I'll
unique,
take
and
a
I'm going to
chance.
take a chance because a lot of people are going to hate this, but I'm willing to take a chance on this guy. There should be, I mean, there should be more artists like Kyle, like, right, like willing to take crazy risks and do things that are outside of the box. But there also should be more people like his contact that got him into the industry.
Less
You know what I mean?
luck-based production. Because, I mean, dude, Jay McMurdy, our old teacher, who I
Mhm.
called the F slur, and haven't talked to since, he said something to me that really hit. He said something to me that hit home, and he said, pretty much like, Zach, I'm sucking my own dick here, but he was telling me how talented I was, and then I didn't want to move to LA originally, and he was explaining that like there's a million people more talented than you who work at like a shoe store, and they will never get the chance just because it's luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it would be nice if we could get rid of that luck aspect, but it's kind of impossible. You know what I mean?
I think
like
that's a really good thing to emphasize, though, especially for anybody who's like listening to this, who's interested in any kind of artistic career, is that like there is so much of this that no matter what you do, no matter how good you are, it just is something that either happens or it doesn't happen,
Right,
or it happens
yeah.
very slowly, or like you just meet somebody at a bar one night who happens to have some sort of contact. So much of this has nothing to do with like any kind of merit. It's just like you happen to be in the right place at the right time. You happen to meet somebody. You happen to like get something into the right person's hands.
dude, Matthew McConaughey was 30, and I think in Austin, Texas, when he met a guy at the bar, he said, "You're kind of charming."
Yes,
that was
sir.
it. He
Yeah.
met a guy at a bar, put him in a movie. That's like
Crazy.
that's
Here's
it.
a little
Yeah.
fun fact about living in Austin. If you take the one train that we have, they have PSAs written by him or
Really?
read by him.
What?
Yeah, you get on the train that we have that goes from downtown to the suburbs, and you just hear, "Hey, folks, why don't you sit back and take a load off? Be a lot cooler if you did. All right, or some shit like that."
I was
That's
riding
awesome.
the Austin train before it was cool. I fucking hate that commercial. Was that a Super Bowl commercial? You know what I'm talking about? The
I
Lincoln.
don't even know that one.
It's him in a
Oh, the
Lincoln.
Lincoln
Like,
Town Car ads
Oh,
where
no.
he's
I was
just
in a
driving
Lincoln.
around down.
before it was
Bruce.
cool. Yeah, and it's like
I thought you were talking about the ones where he's just like driving around downtown saying like time is a flat circle shit.
Yes,
Or whatever.
yeah.
yeah. You know,
It's
Matthew
not about
McConaughey's
the
funny.
destination; it's about the
Gotcha.
road you're on.
I know.
Oh, hey, there's the bank I go to.
Yeah. It's so funny about him is that like it feels like you're supposed to look at him and be like, dude, shut up, you pretentious prick. You know what I mean? But I gotta say, I love Matthew McConaughey.
Me too.
I love his work.
I like
think
his
he's
voice.
I think I like his voice. I
He's
think
the guy
funny.
Rory reminded me of because when someone asked him who's your inspiration, he said, myself in 10 years.
Is
which
that
is
who he
like,
said? Is that what he
literally,
said?
but it made sense because it was like, I'm
Yeah.
constantly trying to better myself and, improve. So in 10 years, what I'll become is like what I'm looking up to, which is like, it's up his own ass a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's Matthew
But
McConaughey.
Yeah, you can pull it off if you have like a certain degree of suaveness that I don't
For
necessarily.
sure.
Shut your mouth. I'm
know,
looking at you and you
I'm
have
not
the
Matthew
suaveness,
McConaughey.
bro.
You definitely got the suaveness.
I'm too. It's all my head. I'm too neurotic to be like that. There's one other thing I wanted to say though about writing
Yes.
in Hollywood, which is that also I think it's important to keep in mind that I think we're in a transitional period.
For sure.
More than anything else, like I think this is the point. Like we're at the start of a new decade right now, so this is around the point where like culture starts to change and like. So even Joss Whedon stuff, like I don't like him. I've never really been a huge fan, but like there was a period in time where like that was fresh, where that was something
Buffy.
new, and now it's Buffy was like a big deal 20 years ago, but now we're just kind of getting to like the tail end of like that wave,
For sure.
and something new is going to come, including like from people who are making stuff you don't like, right? Excuse me, right now, there's like
Maybe even
new stuff
someone
is going
in
to
this
happen.
call.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
also
Yeah.
like another part of that is that like for a long part of the 2010s, Hollywood stopped pretty much putting money into like mid-budget films. Like everything, they got in their own heads about the idea that like everything needs to be like a superhero movie where this is going to make back $20 billion at the box office, and they started neglecting like mid-budget cinema, which is where you get movies like I don't know, most of those comedy movies that you like that you don't see so much of anymore. And it's coming back.
Yeah.
It's starting to come back. And you see that a lot with like horror movies that have been coming out. Like the model of making something that costs like $10 million is because you make like a really good return on that is starting to come back. So I think we'll also
I love that we're in an era where instead of comedy movies, it's horror movies, because that's kind of like the zeitgeist right now, because I love horror movies. So like I'll watch a million schlock horror movies sooner than I'd watch a million comedy schlock movies, because like I like them. I like bad horror movies. I like good horror movies. I like old ones. I like new ones. Like, so I love
I've
that
seen some
renaissance.
If they're bad, they're not good. You know what I mean? Like if it's a bad horror film, they're not good. But there's some that are good bad.
Dang, I just read about like mid-budget comedies. So I just read No Hard Feelings, that comedy movie with Jennifer Lawrence that's in theaters right now. That's made like close to $80 million.
Dude, hell yeah.
On like a budget of like $45 million.
She's been gone for a while.
That's a hit.
Yeah,
it's not like a huge hit, but like that's enough to keep making more movies like that.
Look, man, you doubled your money. You could make another one, double it again. You know what I mean? It's that easy. I mean, what is it? They had one A-list actor. Are there any other A-list actors in that movie?
I don't think
that's all you
so.
do. You shell out for one really talented.
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, he's in it?
Didn't he kill someone?
Yeah, like 30 years ago, he hit somebody.
That's
with his
insane.
car.
He killed a family and then didn't pay them.
That's not.
He also, I'm not even. He promised to even meet them and apologize, and just never showed up.
Well, I mean,
it's messed up, bro. Look at that.
I would also.
Dude, if I killed Harris, if I
so
ran you over,
those people in the eyes.
but you have to.
You do have to, but that's so hard.
Of course, but like.
I just saw this horror movie, which I can't even recommend because I didn't think it was particularly good, but it has sit with me because it was deeply upsetting. I watched The House That Jack Built. Did you guys ever see that one?
I haven't seen it yet.
Watched that.
I've got it like on my hard drive.
Isn't it? It's a comedy horror though. Someone was telling me it's not quite a full horror, right?
I don't know if I would call it a comedy. There are moments of it that are dark comedy because he's a little like bumbling at moments, but It
It's a
was
Lars von Trier movie. That's
yes.
gonna
Oh,
be
those are
hard
never
no matter.
comedy.
It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it was extremely depraved and it was really long. And Lars von Trier is such a funny director because I think the only other movie I've seen by him is Nymphomaniac. I don't know if I got to look it up, but
Did you
it's
see
funny
both
because
parts?
I saw both parts.
Okay.
And what's interesting about that one and this one is that all in all, I would say not phenomenal movies, like front to back. Like if you actually want to look at it as a whole, but both of those movies, or I guess all three of them technically, I took something away from it. Like there would be a moment of very like clever writing or like a really interesting moment that
Mhm.
still sticks with me. And I felt that way about The House That Jack Built, even though I did not really like the movie. There were a lot of moments that I was like, there was actually it's like a really good idea wedged into a overall not phenomenal concept.
Yeah. My favorite of his movies is Dogville. Have you ever seen that one?
Never saw that
Dude,
one.
I
Do you
keep
notice
that's the
what the deal
skating
is
one,
with
right?
that?
It's a
No,
skater thing?
That's Lords of Dogtown. Dogville is a movie where like I think Nicole Kidman or somebody is on the run from the cops and goes to this small village where they just become increasingly cruel to her. But the part of the deal
Interesting.
with that movie is they shot it in like a black warehouse. There are
Okay.
no sets in the movie. They just like made chalk squares on the ground that say
That's kind of
like
What?
cool.
church, house,
And
Dave's
that's how it
house.
is in the movie. It's not
The
like green
entire
screen.
movie.
Oh, that's
The
cool.
entire movie is just in like this black box theater. And I think it's like the most interesting of his movies I've seen.
Well,
I love
I
all his stuff.
I didn't realize I didn't realize he straight up had not made a movie since Nymphomaniac. It was literally Nymphomaniac and then The House That Jack Built. I wasn't that long of a period of time, but I thought he would have had something in between then.
What was
But
the
Probably doing
thing like
something.
he made the
yeah.
actors actually have sex? That was like the special thing about that
No,
movie?
no. I think Nymphomaniac they didn't really have sex. There's a lot of like
That
graphic sexual stuff in it, but I think they were wearing prosthetics.
that
Yeah.
was
Oh,
the
okay.
idea originally though. Like he was going to make the movie with hardcore penetration, then he just couldn't find enough
Funding
people
or
to do
whatever?
it. But
Oh,
like
word.
I know Shia LaBeouf auditioned for that movie by just sending Lars von Trier a sex tape.
Really, that's
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say a dick
Power
pic, but that
move.
works
That's
too.
that's some top
No,
G
he
shit.
just full on sent Lars von Trier a video of him having sex with his girlfriend.
I don't want to spoil anything about House That Jack Built, but what I will say one of the moments that I always think about from Nymphomaniac is that in the I think it's in the first one when there's a period where the main character played by Charlotte Gainsbourg she's talking about how she at one point had so many active like sexual partners in her rotation that would be calling her like they would be calling her and leaving her voicemails, and there were so many of them that she literally couldn't remember which ones she actually liked. Like she had like 30 guys or more, and so she would when responding to their voicemails she would roll a dice, and like if it landed on 6 she would give a really emphatic like I had an amazing time. I can't wait to see you again. Let's meet again this week. And if she rolled a 1, she would ghost them. And then
Oh
everything
my
and everything
god.
in between. And it's like it's such a funny moment in an otherwise like very dark like movie, but he does a lot of stuff like that. Like I think he has like very clever ideas that stick with you, but
Mm.
I don't think he doesn't structure his movies in a way that's like really enjoyable. Like
He's an off-putting dude.
he's very off-putting.
Did he
But what
do Noah?
I don't know about
No, that was Darren Aronofsky,
Oh,
right?
yes. You're right.
yeah, I
You're
don't
right.
know about that one. But what's his name? Matt Dillon, who plays Jack. If you decide,
He's great.
I will warn you that I am not giving my Beetlejuice stamp of approval on this movie. All right, but if you
Oh
decide that you want to
no.
see it anyway, I will say Matt Dillon is phenomenal in the movie. He is like
You're
very,
not
very
giving
good.
it this, but I'm assuming you're not giving it. I'm assuming you're giving it
I'm giving it
this.
somewhere like this, but you have to have a really strong stomach for one graphic violence and
Does it hold
just
like is it more graphic than like American Psycho?
yes, 100%.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, I
it's
might
Is
check
re-
this
American
out.
Psycho really that graphic?
it's like
There's some
American
occasional
Psycho.
stuff. Oh, you know
There's
what? I always confuse it with the book. Harris and I read the book recently, and it is.
The book is very.
I literally had to put
I
it
think
down.
it's one. I think it's one of those things where like more of the violence is implied, like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Yeah.
Where, like you
Yeah.
see almost nothing happen on screen.
Yeah, actually, you don't see. There's no blood in the first Texas Chainsaw because he wasn't.
There's like a couple drops.
No, I think at the time you weren't allowed to show blood, or he was afraid that it wasn't going to get picked up by theaters.
I know
So
there's
think
like
it's all
gruesome
implied.
food, or like the human food. Dude, I
Yeah.
just realized, Rory, we gotta have you back on again real soon because
Yeah,
we're down
seriously.
to like 2 minutes. But
Yeah,
this was a
whatever.
blast, bro. I feel like we've known you
Yeah,
for
this has been a
years.
great conversation.
Dude. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
read off
apologize
just-
for getting angry about the writer's strike, boys.
It's okay.
I thought we had a good convo about it.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
already
I
can
think we
see
had
that. I can already see
I think
the
we had an
comments.
insightful
thought it was
conversation, and we
insightful.
Just ready for
learned
everyone to
and
tell
grew.
me I'm totally wrong. 'Cause
100%. No,
listen to me. Yeah.
Good.
Anytime you guys listen to this podcast, listen to either the guest or Harris's take. Do not listen to my takes.
No, there's people
Trust me.
that'll agree. Real quick, I'm just gonna read off our patrons. Here we go. Thank you guys. The reason I have it all written down on a list, by the way, these are all our executives, and the reason I have it
Ooh,
written
wow.
down is because I just drew everybody's custom doodles that
Let's
are gonna be
go!
going out in the mail. So I
That's
had to
so
I
cool.
wrote
So
everything
I've
down.
seen
so I could
last
check 'em out.
month's are arriving now. I kind of got stalwarted. I don't know if I used that word correctly, but in the move.
That's
But
okay.
I've seen stuff is arriving now. But
That's okay. But guys,
also, I'd like to apologize real quick. Sorry, Harris. I just realized I have not been putting Iman on the executive credit animation, so you will be added to this one.
Iman,
Just
you
wanna
get a
let know.
very special I love you shout out. Ready? Here we go. Okay. We've got Bugs on My Wee Wee, Big Tasty, Bread Zero, Brat Brat Pew Pew, Conga Heli. Yo, my dog Iman. I love you, baby. Francho, Gzan, Gwyn, Wow 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 Boy, Protista, Shrek the Third, Trash Bins, Protagon, and T Stilly. Freaking love you guys.
We
All
fucking
the
love you. You
custom
guys are the
doodles
fucking
going
best.
out in the mail. And dude, Rory,
Yeah,
this was amazing. I way
I had a
long
great time
overdue,
talking
man.
to you guys.
We have to get you back on.
Yeah.
Huge
Happy
fan.
to do it again
What a
anytime.
fucking cool guy to talk to, bro. It was really good picking your mind. I had a really good time.
I'd
And
love
This
to
this is
actually-
the fastest episode we've done.
If I
Go
can,
ahead.
real quick,
Go ahead.
just because I never answered the question about doing DIY stuff, to emphasize to the people at home, I do everything by myself, including I print and mail zines by myself. I mail shirts out by myself. The advantage to doing that is you have more control over what you do, and you don't have to take orders from people. And also, ultimately, it's better for your bottom line, but you end up spending a huge amount of time doing that. I started doing it because I was really into punk rock as a kid, and yeah, it's good. If you can make anything you want by yourself, nobody is stopping you. Nobody can tell you not to make the weirdest shit you can imagine.
Based.
Truth.
That's what I want people
Truth.
to take away
Love
from
you. Love you, Rory.
What an
the
ender!
situation.
What an ender,
What an
dude. Best
ender, dude!
of
Oh
all
my
time.
god!